So we're starting today Unit 2. We're going to start with Chapter 3, Ecology, and we're dealing with the biosphere for Chapter 3. So 3.1 is what is ecology? And ecology is the scientific study of interactions among organisms and their environments or surroundings. And the biosphere contains the combined portions of the planet in which all of life exists, including land, water, and air or atmosphere. When ecologists are doing studies, they ask questions that deal with topics ranging from a single organism to the entire biosphere, and this helps ecologists understand the entire biosphere. A species is a group of organisms so similar to one another that they can breed and produce fertile offspring. Now, the breeding part is the main one because organisms like cats and dogs can't breed with each other and produce offspring. But horses and donkeys can breed with each other and produce mules, which are infertile, so they can produce infertile offspring. So they are still different species. Now, populations are groups of individuals that belong to the same species and live in the same area. Okay, so they're going to be able to interbreed. All right, those organisms of the same species are going to be able to interact with one another. Okay, so what'll happen is a lot of times natural things like rivers or mountains will separate them, and that'll generally be the barrier between a population of deer from Dutchess County and a population of deer from, we could use the river, then we'll say the population of deer in Ulster County. Okay, the river acts as a barrier between them interbreeding. So that's why we can define them as two different populations of the same species. Communities are assemblages of different populations that live together in a defined area. So if we were to go out into the forest behind the Lords, we could see that there are many different populations of trees, different species, and different animals. All right? And an ecosystem is all of the organisms along with the non-living. So the living and non-living. And the biome is a group of ecosystems. So we're going to talk about biomes in Chapter 4. We'll talk about the definition of biomes and how they're separated from one another then. This diagram right here is showing the different setup. You have an individual down at the bottom. A population is all the other of that species. Notice in community we have some moose and beaver and owls added in there. And then ecosystem, the river comes in, and biome we see up higher. Okay? And regardless of the tools they use, scientists conduct modern ecological research using three basic approaches: observing, experimenting, and modeling. All of these approaches rely on the application of scientific methods to guide ecological inquiry. And the first step, observing, used to form experiments and models. Experiments used to test the hypothesis, and finally modeling. Many models are based on formulas made from data collected through observations and experiments.